Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to the summary video for multiplayer game number 103. This is a free-for-all game played on 27th of October on Twitch, of course, so the TeamSpeak and Twitch is on. As usual, spoiler alert, if you do not want to know how the game went, do not watch this video and go to the first position of the playlist where the actual game starts. But if you have watched the game, or if you do want to know how the game went so you can decide if you want to watch the game or not, then stay a while and listen. So, one last spoiler alert and let's go. So, after this terrible teamer that I posted before this game, we played a free-for-all with Merc, Joey Four Fingers, Cleftor, Mr. Singh, and NQShimmy16. The TeamSpeak is on in this game and Twitch chat is on as well. And I rolled Maya. Now, Merc is playing, if I believe correctly, Japan. Joey played Venice, and he actually wanted to play Venice. Cleftor is on Greece. Mr. Singh is on... Who was he playing? Well, we shall find out that later on. And NQShimmy is playing Brazil. Now, this is what I started. I got Maya, and I was like, okay, Maya, that's cool. A mountain, that's cool as well. The only problem, though, is it's not on a river. But I kind of decided, okay, I do want to settle on the mountain anyways, because mountain bonus is cool. And maybe there's actually something cool on the other side. And actually, the tundra in the south was not looking that much interesting at all. So I decided to plant in here and started to experiment a little bit, since this is Maya. So let me show you what came up into my mind. So most of the time when I'm playing Maya, I'm like looking, okay, Maya, that's awesome. It's time for Liberty opener. It's time to get tremendous amounts of cities, because you got extra science from shrines. You can basically support the extra cities with one shrine. You get the extra fate, you get the extra science, you can catch up later on in the game. So I went into Liberty Free Settler, and of course something terrible happened. And basically this is what happened. This is my land. This is all. I'm basically landlocked. There's a city-state in here, there's a city-state in here, a city-state in here, there's a one small passage to Cleftor, playing as Greece on the other side, and there's like nothing that I was able to scout because barbarians stopped me. But soon, Indonesia, Mr. Singh was playing Indonesia, soon Mr. Singh just planted in here, and suddenly I had no more place to go. So I went into Liberty Settler with a hope I could plant tons of cities, and instead of tons of cities I got 3 cities. So I had to adapt, and of course after Liberty Free Settler I started to fill out tradition. And the one good thing though is I got Tundra Fate. So basically that Tundra is at least a little bit useful. So I went with the Tundra Fate 3 city opener. I even have to delay the last settler because there was a damn barbarian camp in there. But I was trying to do something good with this land. And of course Cleftor in here, he's so darn lucky with the starts lately. He had amazingly good capital, and on top of that he's just such a great player that his start is just tremendously amazing. He's got so much food, so much science in the early game. He's like every single game he's just playing damn well. And on top of that, most of the time he's very lucky with the starting location. So in this game he was lucky again, because he was like, there's like one tile passage to him, and his early game was so stronger than when I actually reached the time that I could possibly do something. He had a great wall and like a huge production lead on me that I was really not like planning to go and attack him there. I was really hoping, since Shumi was like north of him, I was really hoping that Shumi's gonna try to do something about him. But enough about Cleftor. So this is my starting location. I will skip a lot of turns to show you basically how my empire looked like after a lot of turns basically, because there was not much happening in here. I was really trying to like play a catch up and do something useful in this land. As you can see, this land is pretty much terrible. There's no food. Now I want to say that one more time, there's no food in this land. There's only this small river tile. There's a luxury in here, and you can't really go out of here because there's like ice. So I can't even send cargo ships between those two cities. So maybe I could plant it some elsewhere, but I felt like this is the best spot to plant a city. Even the cities, they took a horse that's in the fourth ring. I was like, felt so trolled in this game. Is like clearly amazing. But let's continue. So around in here, for a moment, I was hoping like, okay, maybe, just maybe I can do something. I had a very nice fate. I had a very nice culture, and my science was decent. Like for turn 129, sitting on 5 cities, it's not bad. It's seriously not bad, but there's, of course, as usual, huge problems around this place. No coal. So I was dependent on coal. Well, actually, I was not dependent on coal. I actually got the coal. I forgot. I got no aluminium, but that's later. So I got coal, 3 coal, so 3 factories. So I had the chance for ideology, and I picked autocracy. I picked it after Shumi though. So Shumi was first autocracy, had some tourism, and he was generating those great people. So autocracy was dominant ideology until it was voted like freedom or something like that. But I got this, I got the religion, I got the gold from religion, so I have a nice income, I got a nice culture, I got a nice faith. Those cities are not that bad, but you can see Cleftor cities, 26 pop, 25 pop. And he's got a third city somewhere in here, which is also huge. I think he had like, at this stage of the game, he had around 15 to 20 population advantage over me. That's from on the east side. On the west side, I got Mr. Singh, who's also doing quite well, even taking Wellington, so he's like on top of me. And he's doing well, nobody's retreating in him. He's got America in the north, who's not having that great of a game. In the middle, between Merck and Brazil, between Shumi, is Joey playing as Venice. Also not doing that great, and actually Joey left in the middle of the game later on because he was too tired, and people actually allowed it to happen, so that was bad. And then we've got Cleftor and Shumi, who is not, well, compared to Cleftor, even compared to me, who is not looking that great. He was planning to go for hotels, well, actually not hotels, but he went for oil, and he wanted to go bombers. But his science was, I don't know, for a moment there he was leading at science, but suddenly later on he like slowed down tremendously compared to Cleftor, who's just having an amazingly good game, like city states, great science, great food, great hammers, great gold, everything like pure awesomeness, like a dream game for him. So I really didn't know what to do. I was like thinking like, okay, I gotta get Mr. Singh down, because if I'm gonna fight Cleftor, Mr. Singh is just gonna get in here and kill me. But then again, then I would have to depend on Shumi to actually do something about Cleftor. It was clearly not going to work out well. So let's skip a little bit later when I will show you how the fighting, well, when the fighting actually broke. So here we are around turn 161. I'm preparing to attack Cleftor. Now, so as I said, I went autocracy, I had the gold. Now Shumi gave me oil, and I decided that I cannot really wait any much longer. If I want to try to slow down Cleftor before he's gonna win like in 20 turns, I gotta attack right now. And I don't even have my oil. I barely like started to build the research labs. I bought the research labs, my capital, so my science was crap. I was like picking later on at 800. That's really terrible. On top of that, I gotta admit I'm not that experienced with Maya, and I think I messed up the great person choices. So actually my great scientist generation was terrible, and I didn't have enough great science. So basically when I Okay, but that enough about that. So I bought great war bombers and I started to attack Kleftor. And of course soon it was very clear that I can't do much. His cities was like 100 combat strength. Those great war bombers cannot touch it. I was trying to kill some units, I killed some. Then he got into fighters, not fighters but interceptors, triplanes, I mean triplanes, so I couldn't really attack. So I started to attack Ragusa and I took Ragusa. And from that moment, of course, I was trying to fight and fight and fight and fight. But instead of actually pushing into Kleftor, since I was all alone in here, I only got oil, but Shumi was not really fighting him. So instead of pushing into Kleftor, Kleftor started to attack me, and let me show you how that looked. So I basically lost Tulum. I basically lost Tulum, and I was really having a hard time. I want to take a clear note that 90 turns later, Kleftor had 201 combat strength cities. They were like untouchable by bombers even. And I used everything, every great scientist, writer, rationalism, a finisher to get to bomb shelters. I used everything for bombers and bomb shelters. So my tag was like only 800. I never would get another great scientist. I only could buy like something with fate later on, but like natural generation was non-existent. I would get like another great scientist in, I don't know, 20 turns. In 20 turns this game would be over, because Kleftor had like almost 10k gold and he was freedom. He had a lot of city-states, a lot of culture, so he was going to buy spaceship parts like that. And Shumi was doing nothing. I was trying to, well, now I was really trying to defend. I used great generals to get the oil back, get the oil from him, so he would have some sort of a penalty, but that was not really working that well. And I was trying to fight. I lost Tulum, which hit me pretty bad too, and so I was really desperately trying to defend in here, and that's about it. Not trying to push into him, but just trying to defend and like fortify my land just a little bit. So Kleftor was not really threatening, he was like racing towards space easily, Hubble telescope and all the usual stuff that Kleftor does. And on top of that, tons of gold and freedom finishers, so he could like buy spaceship parts. And now I knew that with my non-existent science, the only thing that I can do is try to stop Kleftor. And I was really hoping that Shumi is in a little bit better shape, or Merc will be able to do something against Mr. Singh, because Mr. Singh was left unchecked absolutely, though his position was not even close to Kleftor. But if I'm gonna kill Kleftor, if we're gonna kill Kleftor, then Mr. Singh's probably gonna win. I hate being a kingmaker, but I had to try to do something, and since I did already attack Kleftor and he was the closest person to win, to theoretically have at least a little bit of a chance, I had to try to not allow Kleftor to win and hope that either Shumi or Merc will be in some sort of a shape, and since I got Blitz paratroopers, we will be able, with the combination of stealth bombers and Blitz, to get Mr. Singh down after we're gonna take Kleftor down. So like Kleftor was the first target because he would win like instantly soon, and then Mr. Singh. I couldn't really do much, I wasn't on the defensive, but Mr. Singh finally tried to, I was like asking, give me gold, give me gold, give me gold, and Mr. Singh was so reluctant to give me gold. Only like Merc gave me gold, I think Shumi gave me a little bit gold to buy those bombers and planes, so I had a chance at least, but I was not really making any progress, because attacking with bombers, a 200 combat strength city, that they would like boom, die like flies, die bomber, die bomber, die bomber. And Kleftor is really good, so he had like fighter protection, building mobile subs and stuff and stuff and stuff. So I was in really bad shape, and I went for bomb shelters as well instead of trying to go for stealth. because I was basically all in. I knew that Cleftor is so ahead. He's got uranium also, so he can like get Manhattan Project, buy a nuke, and boom, drop a nuke onto my city with bombers, and they would all die. So I had to get bomb shelters first, which delayed my stealth bombers by a lot. But this situation in here looks terrible. But let me show you. So turns later, there we go. I took Cleftor's capital. Now, I want to say that Cleftor deserved to win this game. Absolutely. And I feel very bad that I put a hand into killing him. Now, the only way I could have done it, of course, was first of all because I had blitz paratroopers. Secondly, I had a lot of bombers, but Mr. Singh get in here with a nuclear submarine and he nuked Cleftor several times. And Cleftor would already win several turns ago, but first, his last part, well, he got nuked, one part got nuked first, then the last part he tried to sneak into his capital was nuked before he was able to launch it. And then he had the money to buy the last part that was also nuked. So 3 parts got nuked, and one that was like missing the click of a button to launch into space. So Cleftor really deserved to win this game, but he was stopped. And of course I put a hand into it, which after the game I was really unhappy with that, because we had no way to stop Mr. Singh after that. My science was terrible. I would need like 20 turns to get to stealth, and Mr. Singh would win in like 8 turns or something like that. Well, let me skip to the last screen. So 5 turns later, I knew we have absolutely no chance. At least I cannot stop him. I was looking at Mr. Singh's cities. Of course I had spiders. He had stealth bombers already, and he would need like around 6 or 8 turns, so he would have a space victory at around turn 201. He was taking Merk's capital, so Merk was dead. Shumi was in the back, having stealth like in 10 turns. My stealth was at least like 15 or 20 turns ago. There was no possibility to take Mr. Singh in time before he would launch to space. Now, this is the part that I'm not happy with in this game, because as I said earlier, considering the gameplay, Cleftor deserved the win so damn much more than Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh just got those couple of nukes in here that help out to take out Cleftor, but the last, like, all the dirty work I did and Shumi. So it took 3 persons to take out Cleftor, and in the meantime Merk was not really pressuring Mr. Singh, and Mr. Singh could like peacefully grow and do stuff, and still he was like 25 turns behind Cleftor, or even 30 turns behind Cleftor, who could have win space so much earlier than him. So from that perspective, like, Cleftor, really amazing. He's like such a good player. It's so enjoyable to play with him. First of all, he's really good. He performs excellent almost in every single game I play with him. And on top of that, he's such a nice person. I don't even, like, after this game, he was like, he lost, he was team up, and he was like not a single sign of any like being mad or disappointed or anything like that. So yeah, it's just so darn enjoyable to play with Cleftor. It's really amazing. Really love to play with him. So that's it about this game. And I hate my media player right now. The dropping in, I have no idea why. So this is it. Thank you very much for the game, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't watched the game, I invite you to check out this game. It was a very cool game, late game, at least a little bit of fighting and like trying to stop Clef during the last second. That was really cool, but in the end that was not helpful to winning the game myself, sadly. So the link to the first position of the playlist is in here. Yeah, basically that's it. So thank you very much for watching and best wishes.